In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to upload your history onto RIA using your own data. So let's go down to the navigation bar. The last button is going to take you to this screen, and we're going to hit Options. In Options, you hit Upload Purchase, and in Upload Purchase, you're going to hit Send Mail Template, type in your email address, and you're going to get an email with instructions along with the template. When you open up your template, here is what it looks like. We've already gone over what each and every column means. You're going to be copying and pasting data from multiple different places, or maybe you have everything in one place. It just depends on how you've kept your records when it comes to your inventory. So for example, I have different places where I can show you guys that I get my inventory. The main one that I use is my own spreadsheet that I've created. I have everything here. I have all of my labels, descriptions, everything that I need. So there's one place. Another place that a lot of people can get data is, let's just say on Poshmark. For example, Poshmark offers you the option to do your sales report. So you can either do your sales report, inventory report, and I'm going to get a report that looks similar to this right here. So everything here, you can see I have a list date, I have an order date, which is a sold date. I have listings, categories, all this information here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using my spreadsheet. And if I'm missing any data, I have, let's say, my Poshmark spreadsheet. And I'm just going to be copying and pasting information on here for my upload. Start with column A. Column A is going to be your item number. Again, this is optional. You may or may not have an item number. I do have item numbers, so I'm going to go into my reselling log here, and you can see here I have item numbers. So I'm just going to Control Shift down all the way to the end. I'm going to hit Control C. I'm going to copy. Let's then go into the template. I'm going to right click. And now here's where it's really important that when you go to paste, I need everybody to try to always paste as values. The reason why you want to paste as values is because we all input our data differently. And to ensure that the formatting is correct when it comes to your upload, you want to make sure that you paste as values for every single column that you have here. Okay, so there are item numbers. So now let's go back to my reselling log here. And we're going to go all the way up to the top again. So here's the top. So label. So I know that that's my vendor name or my brand. I know that the next column is description, and the next column is status. So I'm going to copy all of this. So copy. And now let's go back to the template. Right click, paste as values. And now you can see all that conditional formatting has started to pop up. Copy our costs. I'll copy my list price. I'm going to copy my comps. So copy. And paste the values. There's all that information there. So you can see here, we're moving forward. Sale price is next. And a right click, paste. Platform fee. I actually, oh no, for platform fee, I do have that. 1 second. You can see here, I call it Poshmark fee on here, but it really is a platform fee. But everybody's things are going to be named something different. So everything should be pretty self-explanatory on here though. So we're going to go right click. So purchase location and purchase date is next. Again, if I didn't know these three, I could just skip them if I wanted to. Or for example, let's say if I needed to do a list date, you could always combine. I mean, this is where things can get tricky, but if you're pretty good at combining things, you can grab your Poshmark sales report and see here how you have a list date here. So you could copy all of this and maybe copy all this information and try to match things so that you can get your list dates. It's up to you. But if I didn't know any of it, it's just going to remember default to what it tells you up here in the comment section. Okay, so I highlighted these 3 columns right here. So again, I could just hit copy, go back to the template, right click, paste the values. All that information is on here. Remember, if you don't know the purchase location, it's just going to say unknown. Next is platform. I'm going to skip platform for now because I don't have that information in my spreadsheet. So I'll have to do a little bit of digging on my part. So you see date sold and date deposited. So I do happen to have that information. So the last 2 columns are date sold, date deposited. So I am going to pull that data. So it's the values. There's the information. Now, you are going to have files that are going to be huge with tons and tons of records. So just take your time. The whole point of this upload is that it is a one-time upload. If you need to break it up, you can do that. I generally, what I found was very helpful for me was that if I broke it up by year, because right now what I'm going to have to do is, as you can see, not everyone's spreadsheet is going to line up exactly perfectly, not even mine. When it comes to this template, there's going to be information that you're going to be missing, or you're going to have to do some data cleanup within this spreadsheet. Go ahead and hand key in all of my information here. I don't have platform information, so I can't tell you where all my listed items are right now. I could just put in Poshmark. That could also be an option, but I highly recommend you doing some data cleanup. So for example here, the way that I like to do my data cleanup is as follows. The way that I like to do my data cleanup is as follows. If I highlight this entire row right here and I filter, there's a couple of things that I like to always just double check to make sure I don't have duplicates. Because when it comes to uploading things in RIA, anything that's like case sensitive or has an extra space is going to create a duplicate record arrow. And here are all of the items that are in this column right here. So I like to just scroll down and make sure that I don't have anything that looks funny or duplicate. Like say I have Ann Taylor and Ann Taylor Loft. Those are going to be 2 different records. It's not going to go into one. So I'm okay with that. Let's keep looking here, make sure that like I didn't misspell something, because I mean we all do it. So I just want to make sure that this is looking nice and clean. And this is basically what my brands list is going to look like in RIA. So there's nothing wrong with doing just a little bit of work on the front end to make sure that your data is nice and clean when you go to upload it. So next column, I'm going to be making some adjustments, or my data cleanup too, is purchase location. So I know that I'm terrible at this when it comes to my data. And you might have another section where you might not be as consistent too. I mean, not everyone's data is going to be perfect, but that's why we got to do a little bit of data cleanup, right? So there are a couple of different ways you can look in here and see, like I have Boston Bins, Boston, Boston Bins with a little tick on it, Boston Outlets. Like I have 50 different ways on how I say Boston. So the way that I like to clean up my data is I can either sort it, and then I can go through and just copy and paste. So for example, if I wanted to call it the Goodwill Boston Bin, I can go through here. Just paste. So I'm literally just going through and cleaning out my data. Or even as I go through, like for example, you can see here I have Boston Harrison Avenue, Boston Harrison. So it's just going through and cleaning up all of these locations here and making sure that it's consistent. And the reason why I want this to do that is if I leave it like this, it's going to upload two different records and my reporting is not going to be accurate. I can go ahead and make the adjustments and the changes in RIA, but that is going to be a huge hassle. It is much easier to do data cleanup always on an Excel spreadsheet. So just take your time. So I'm going to go through all of these right here slowly and make sure that all of my records are what I intend them to be when I upload them into RIA. All right, now that everything has been cleaned up, it's taken me a little bit of time, but not too much. You can see here things just look a little bit more consistent and I don't have 50 different ways to name the same place. So now going forward, you can see here that I need to add in my platform. Now, the way that you can add in your platform is one, you could put unknown for any history, old history that you have. But if you can and you have this data, I highly recommend that you do it because again, that way when you're looking at your platform sales, you can actually compare apples to apples on what's going on in your business. All right, so I've gone through and as you can see here, I have updated all of my platforms. Again, if you can try to find where you sold these items, where they're currently listed, it would be great if you can put that information. If they're listed on multiple platforms, you can only put one platform at a time. So just put in the first platform. Usually that's what I do. It's usually Poshmark. Everything that I list is always on Poshmark. The last data cleanup that I need to do is categories. I don't keep records of categories, so I'm going to have to go and look for categories. If I don't want to do it, I don't have to. It'll just default to none. But I'm going to put in some of my categories. This is also going to be case sensitive, so just be really careful. Okay, so I uploaded or I keyed in all the data or found the data that I need for my category. Now, this is over, like I said, 400 records, close to 500 records, to give you an example. I did time to see how long it would take me to kind of do this, and it took me about 25 minutes. So again, it will take a little tiny bit of time, but it will be well worth it when you see all of your data nice and neat and in one place. So now the last thing I want you to do is you have everything saved on here. So let's save again. And I want you to scroll down and look and make sure, make this a little bit wider so you can see. Make sure that we don't see any conditional formatting. So anything that might highlight and tell us that it could be an error. So the last thing that we want is that we don't want records to kick back out. All right, so as we were scrolling down, I saw that this is in red. So this is okay because it's the one exception to the rule where it's all right if we have a zero cost. Again, we highly recommend though that you put 1 cent in there instead. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Next is I have here, looks like I forgot to put in a date on here. So this was for existing inventory. When I sell my bundles, I just call them no brand bundles, for example. And you can see here, I don't have a date. Now it'll default to whatever this date is. So I'm not too worried about that. But if I knew the date, I can go ahead and plug that in. But I'm just going to keep on moving. I'm more focused on red. I'm looking for anything red. So great. So you can see here, I don't have any other reds. All right. So based off of everything here, it looks clean. I think that we are ready to upload our entire 2020 records. So I just wanted to go back and refer to that email that you got. So you can see here we've done step one. We downloaded the template to our desktop. We completed the template for all of your data. We pasted as values. We're going to save the template as a tab delimited file in Windows or a tab delimited CSV if you're on a Mac. So let's go to my inventory. Now, when we mean a text delimited file, I want you to go to File, Save As, Browse Again, where you want to put it. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. And then here, as in save as type, we're going to click on here. And you can see here it's text tab delimited. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to hit save. Little icon's going to pop up. Fine, just click OK. And then some features in your work might get lost. That's fine. It's not going to, so hit yes. Perfect. Now we're ready to email this to our iPhone or our iPad. All right, so we're just going to type in upload 2020 inventory, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to hit attach file. And you are going to attach the text document, not the workbook, but the text document. So click that. And then I will email it to myself, and I'm going to hit send. And then I'll show you where you can find it. So here's the email that I sent to myself. When I click on the attachment, I am going to save this into my files. So I'm just going to go ahead and put save files. And I'm just going to save it wherever I know I can find it. There we go. Now I logged back into RIA. I'm going to go in the navigation bar to the last screen, and in options, I'm going to hit upload purchase. I'm going to hit upload file. Depending on how big this file is, sometimes it will take a little bit of time. So you can see here, I've already have it linked onto my files. So I have their 2020 inventories. I'm going to hit upload. I'm going to wait, and it's going to tell me that my file successfully uploaded, which is great. So I'm going to hit OK. Now, before I get out of here, you can see here I did have 2 errors, which is totally fine. What I want you to do is I want you to write down these rows. So it's row 113 and row 275. I'm missing a status, and I'm missing a status on here. It's going to tell you exactly why it failed, but everything else uploaded, which is really great. So what we're going to do is you're just going to go back into that spreadsheet, find these 2 issues here, and make those corrections, and then you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to upload again, but you're only going to upload these errors, not everything else, or else everything will duplicate. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we are back in our spreadsheet, and we did take a note that it was row 113 was an issue. So scroll down here. 113 was an issue, and that's because my status was incorrect. So here, I know it didn't do conditional formatting, but you just want to make sure that your status is going to be one of these 5 right here. So again, this is really going to be very, very quick. So we want to do purchase. All right. And we're going to also look at row, I think it was 275. Here, see, we have another to list. So we're going to do purchase. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a new template, and I'm just going to copy these 2 records. All right, so here are the 2 records that were rejected. It was because of the status. So I just made that quick change. So I already went ahead and I named it rejected files. So you're going to hit save as. I already did save it as a tab delimited file because I'm going to upload that again. So it's right here. So it's my rejected files, tab delimited. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to email this to myself, upload it onto my iPhone, and then I'm going to upload it into RIA. So just do that when you get any errors. Just make sure that you don't upload the same thing twice. So just make sure you make a note of what the rows are and make changes to those records only, and only upload those records. We're going to hit upload file, rejected files, upload, and upload is complete. We got no errors and we are all good to go. So again, it's a little bit of work up front with your data cleanup. We all need to do it. It's important that it needs to get done either way. But once your upload is complete, all your information is going to be on there, and then you can move forward using RIA in real time as you purchase your items, list them, sell them, and deposit them.